In life, you gentlemen know there are two paths you can go down. And a lot of you guys already know, but if you're new to the channel, I'm 20 years old, I'm a fitness coach. I get people in the greatest shapes of their lives. But I do that in a world that wants to keep everybody soft, a world that you can't even touch a receipt paper without your testosterone declining, or there's pesticides in everybody's yard, and mentally don't even get me started. This video is going to be a little bit different. This video is going to hit a little bit more home. This video is going to be a little bit more intimate. And I really urge you guys to stop what you're doing, sit back, and internalize what I'm about to say. And the value you're going to get out of that is a perspective on life. If there's anything, this is going to be broad. If there's anything, fitness, a girl, confidence, a job, money, anything that you want, any desire you have that you want to fulfill, I want to break that down into exactly how you can get there by mastering your mind, or at least mastering your decision-making process. And I'm going to start out with a story about my roots, my origin. You know, if you guys don't know, I used to be, 200, I was 80 pounds overweight. I was fat. And I would get bullied for it, and I'm not complaining and bitching about that. I'm actually glad it happened, right? Like, that's another reason the world is soft. Like, people bullied me because I needed to make a change, so I'm very thankful for that, right? And I'm not going to sit here and cry about it. But it forced me to make that change, and then I became too skinny. I crash dieted and figured out a perfect diet that worked for me, but that's before I lifted. And, now I'm at the point, finally, after like 7 years of a process where, I'm in fantastic shape. I can change my weight at will. I can bulk up and gain 10 pounds of muscle, lose 10 pounds of fat, no problem. No problem. And I've done it 100% naturally. And when I break that down, I remember the struggles that I had when doing all of that was basically choosing the correct path and not choosing the right path too often of the time. And I want to break this down into this two-path idea and how to master that for you guys in this video, because in life there are two paths you can go down. One will get you closer to pleasure and further from pain, and the other will bring you further from pleasure and closer to comfort. And I want you, if you're maybe diagramming this out, write down two sides on a piece of paper with a line in the middle. Closer to comfort, further from pleasure, or closer to pleasure, further from pain. And basically every decision that you make, and this is something I've taken years to learn. This is not some ChatGPT bullshit. This is real actionable advice that I've internalized, and that's my purpose in life, is to internalize information and teach you guys. I want to be fruitful and spread it. Just like spreading the gospel, just like spreading information. That's why I'm here. But comfort is something we all chase. And chasing comfort in the wrong fashion will drive you away from pleasure. That left side, that wrong path, right? And let's internalize this and talk about how this happens in real life. Anytime you eat the chocolate bar when you're supposed to be dieting, anytime you sit in the kitchen and binge eat before you go to bed, anytime you don't talk to a girl you wanted to talk to because you don't see yourself as worthy, anytime where the pain of actually doing the action, the work it takes, is less important to you than the long-term goal, right? The other side, on the flip side, is when you are going towards pleasure and away from pain, is when you understand the pain of not doing something is actually worse, which is rare if you don't train your mind. How often does somebody who doesn't really care about how they eat, how they look, they care, but they don't internalize how important it is that they're fat and they need to fix that? How often does that person skip out on the chocolate bar? Almost never. Almost never. Never happens. It's crazy. Go to Walmart. If you don't believe me, go to Walmart and just look at 10 people. How often do those 10 people skip the chocolate bars? Not fucking often, right? Soft world, like I said. So, and this is all going to tie in. This is a structured lesson. It sounds like I'm going off the cuff. I am going off the cuff, but this is a structured lesson. So please continue to pay attention. On the flip side, though, imagine if you could go from 90% skipping out on, the diet and just eating the chocolate bar. You could flip that on its head, and maybe just half the time you skip the chocolate bar. Maybe half the time you go talk to the girl. Maybe half the time you hit the gym, right? That's progress. That is a small win on your way to reinventing your identity and changing what you're passionate about. Because you are passionate about comfort if you are not where you want to be. You have a passion in life. Everybody has a passion in life, or a goal, or a North Star. And a lot of people's North Stars are comfort. That is what the system uses to keep people docile, to keep people small, to keep people from being jacked. That is the world we live in. So if you want to continue to go down the wrong path, please continue to chase the comfort. If you want to fix that and change that and go down the correct path in life, if you want a six-pack, if you want 20-inch biceps naturally, if you want to be able to go to the gym every day, if you want to wake up at 4 o'clock and not feel like your world is ending when your alarm goes off, then you choose the pain. You move towards the pain that will be less painful in the long term. Because where you are now, you can accept the fact you aren't at your goals. Because you have a current state of being that is okay with not being where you are. If you're 250 pounds, you're obviously okay with being 250 pounds right now. Because you got yourself there. If you weren't okay with it, you wouldn't have gotten there. Okay? Your mind chooses every single circumstance in your life. You are 250 pounds because a process of decisions that have got you to that point. So you must be okay with it because that's what you did. You know, you wouldn't look at somebody who, you know, a thief, and then they just stole $50 out of a gas station register, and they come out and say, well, I'm not a thief. Well, obviously you are a thief. The decisions you made you a thief. And that's why you have that extra $50, and that's why you're going to go to jail. It's the same thing with weight. It's the same thing with chasing your goals. You go and your body goes and your mindset goes based off the decisions you make. So to switch from that left path to the right path, you chase the long-term pleasure, something that is going to fill you in the long term. And the way you do that, this is important. This is the key, the punchline almost to this point. The way you achieve anything you want is by true understanding of the pain that you have when you don't have it. How much does it hurt to not be in good shape? Well, if you think about it and you've made the decisions and you're okay with it, it doesn't hurt that bad. You'll get in shape in the future. But if you can truly internalize and deep dive into you being out of shape, so when you look into your son or your brother or your friend's eyes and they look back at you and you could tell they're just, I mean, they can't even believe what they're seeing. Who am I talking to right now? You know, I'm talking to a 250 pound, 300 pound, you know, out of shape or skinny fat, whatever the problem is, version of you. When we know damn well with the technology we have nowadays, there's gyms everywhere. You could be in the greatest shape of your life if you just made the decisions to do it. And the hardest part is like actually getting yourself to go, because you want to chase this comfort. You want to be comfortable. You want to be able to wake up in the morning and not feel stressed. You want your cortisol to be low. All of these things, all of these factors. The issue with that is when you are chasing those things, you are directly antagonizing your process and making it harder for you to be the person you want to be. So when your friends look at you, they look at you as somebody who's just chasing comfort, right? So for example, what if you guys got in a pinch? You're going to go make yourself comfortable instead of actually try to work your way out of the situation. Or even at your job, right? Like, fat people get passed up on promotions literally all the time. I would never promote a fat person if I was the boss of a large corporation. Because what happens when shit gets uncomfortable? They're just going to go back to comfort. They're going to close their laptop, stop doing their work, and immediately open their phone. Because your body is a physical representation of like who you are, what you chase, the decisions that you make. And as the world and time goes on, you run out of time to actually do this. I mean, more and more people get in shape literally every day, every week, every month, every year. Like, yes, the average person still is probably fat, probably skinny, right? But that is why it is important now, before all these different peptides and all this crap comes out that, like, you know, literally does it for you in the next like 10 years, right? That's why it's important now to earn the shape that you can be in, because people will actually respect that. This may be your last chance to earn respect, your last chance to move up in your career, your last chance to get a hot girlfriend that you are proud of being seen with, right? Like, it is so important to master your mind, to be able to go away from comfort and to build a passion for what will drive you forward in life. Build a passion. There's a reason I say it like that, because passion will drive you further than anything else. I go to the gym because I love going to the gym. I eat right because I love looking good. be honest, I like looking attractive. I like being able to attract girls. I like being able to, walk into my job and people just automatically assume I'm smarter. They automatically assume I'm, going to take care of them better when I'm serving tables just because I look good. That's how the world is. I didn't design it, but I live in it. So I'm going to make sure I take full fucking advantage of that opportunity, and you would be stupid not to as well. It is important, it is imperative to make sure everything you do drives you forward and away from comfort. If I wanted to be comfortable, when I first started lifting, the first 6 months that I hated, the first year that I hated with no music in my moldy basement, if I just wanted to be more comfortable, I could have easily taken my ass upstairs, away from my gym equipment and said, you know what? I don't need to be jacked right now. I'll get jacked in the future. I'm fucking 15 years old. Why do I need to be jacked? I could have said that. But now that I'm 20 years old, I look back at the 15-year-old version of myself who never fucking gave up, who had more balls than you have, if you're not in shape yet, mind you, who had more skill, more drive than you do, okay? I would wake up earlier than you, and I don't say this to be a dick, I say this to point out and extrapolate how fucking shitty and how stupid it is to not be in great shape, okay? I look back at that version of myself and I say, oh my goodness, I am so thankful I had the wherewithal and I understood the importance of being in great shape so much to the point where I am proud of where I am now, and my life is completely different because of it. I make way more money than I thought I ever would. I have a better, a more fun experience in life. I get, more attention from girl or dudes and make more friends or dates, whatever you want to say. I have more of it than I should because I put in the work and I got myself away from comfort. Those are the two paths you can go down in life. Comfort, no comfort. The absolute most simple way I can put it. And the path with no immediate comfort will bring you the ultimate peace by the end. And the ultimate peace while you're putting in the work and build the passion for the right things. For the right things. If you're curious exactly how I did that, you can book a call with me. I'll walk you exactly through it. I have plenty of guys that I coach that I literally, it's ridiculous, right? Like the stuff that we uncover, boom, 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 boom. Quick wins, easy wins. You want to lose weight, you want to gain muscle, you want to sharpen your mindset, I am the guy. And I charge a lot less than the other guys do too. If you're just curious about how I live my life, you want to see a little bit more into it, check me out on Instagram. I post almost every day, and I definitely post every fucking day here on YouTube. I don't miss a day, so at least fucking subscribe. At least take advantage of the free shit that I give out. I love you guys. I truly, truly, truly love you guys. If you have questions, leave them in the comments. Check out another video if you're, kind of want that motivation. Listen to it in the gym. Do what you got to do. Love you guys. Good luck to you guys. God bless. Get to work. Implement this knowledge. Have an amazing rest of your day.